there is that lesson about knowing what our gifts are and using them to God's glory. Hello, my name is Johnnie Alexander. I am a novelist. I've written several books for Guideposts and 3 in the Mysteries of Cobble Hill Farm series, which has just been so much fun, getting to know that world and getting immersed in Yorkshire, England. I was inspired to write books because of a milestone birthday. So it was a long-time dream for me to write fiction and to write stories. But it was a scary dream because it meant so much to me and I was afraid to fail. So I would read books on the craft of writing. I subscribed to writers' magazines. I did all those kinds of things because that wasn't as scary as being told I couldn't write and I didn't have the talent and I wasn't able to do it. But finally, this, like I said, milestone birthday is coming up. And it's like, if I don't do it now, I never will. And what am I losing if that doesn't happen? And just one thing led to another. And now I sit here and I've written over 40 stories, novels, novellas, and short stories combined. I'm at that place. And it has just been a wonderful journey. The Mysteries of Cobble Hill Farm is a fantastic series. So our heroine throughout all of this Mystery of Cobble Hill Farms series is Harriet Bailey. So she's got a very appropriate first name. She is an American, but she inherited her grandfather's Yorkshire veterinary clinic, his practice, and his home, which is a lovely 2-story Victorian home in the land surrounding it. And it's right off the North Sea. So it's in Yorkshire, England. So it's just really been fun. Like I said, I've written 3 books in the series and it has been just a great time digging into Yorkshire. So this is book number 17 in the series, Pride, Prejudice, and Pitfalls. So I wanted a book that was spooky without, of course, being supernatural. So then I had to find out, how do you make a theater spooky? And how do you make it look like things are happening that aren't really happening? You know, that there is a natural cause behind those. And the story is about Harriet. She's been married now for 2 months to Will. He's a minister at the local church. And Harriet is adjusting to being a minister's wife. So that is kind of an overarching theme in the story. And the other part is this theater. A friend of Will's has come to town. He's bought this old theater and he's putting on a play, Pride and Prejudice. And Will and Harriet are playing Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet in the play. And things start happening. Scary things start happening. There is a ghost that is dressed like an ethereal Charles Dickens with a top hat. So they start calling him the Top Hat Ghost. And people are being afraid, and then there's just different things that's going on that may cause the friend Joel to lose the theater. Using the gifts that God has given you. That is kind of an overarching theme in the story. And that sometimes people want us to do things that aren't in our wheelhouse, that they're not our gifts. Sometimes we have to do those things anyway, and we need to be discerning about that. But there's especially one lady in the congregation who, in my letter to the reader at the very end of the story, I call Pushy Poppy. Poppy is a very generous woman, kind, but she thinks that Harriet should be doing lots of things that Harriet's not doing. But Harriet's a vet. She's got a full-time job. She can't be doing everything at the church. And, there is that lesson about knowing what our gifts are and using them to God's glory. The character I most relate to is Colleen Crothers. She is just an extra character in this book. She's not one of the main ones, and I don't know that she shows up in anyone else's story after this one. But she works at the local newspaper. But what was special about her is that she had written a best-selling novel under a pseudonym They gave her the money to buy a 50-acre rundown farm that she has totally renovated. I mean, I would like to write not necessarily a best-selling book, but a book that gave me enough money that I never had to worry about money again. And the money to buy maybe not 50 acres, but 5 acres of a little place. That would be really fun out in the country. I would like that. If anyone's familiar with the movie, The Ghost of Mrs. Muir, at the end of that movie, those two characters, the ghost, who's a ship's captain, and Mrs. Muir, she dies sitting in her chair, and her spirit rises up, and she walks off into the sunset or into the clouds with the ghost. So it's a fascinating movie. It's really good. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I need that ending. I need a Ghost of Mrs. Muir ending for this book. Of course, we're not supposed to have ghosts. I wrote it anyway. So I sort of pulled my own little prank on the editors. And I knew they would. I figured they wouldn't allow it, but I thought, maybe they would, because it's cute. So at the end of the book, I had two characters kind of having this Ghost of Mrs. Muir moment. And of course, when I get the edits back, it's like, Johnnie, no ghosts. We cannot have ghosts. So I had to rewrite the ending. But it was a fun moment. And, there is part of me thinking they'll never let me write a book again. But they've given me contracts for another series. So I was very thankful for that too. As I got into the story, it's like, well, what does this theater look like? So I was like going through floor plans of old theaters, and I picked one. And I think I'm pretty sure when I sent in my manuscript, I sent in that floor plan so that the editors could see, as I was doing direction in the story, that they could also visualize it and make sure I was being accurate with how I described it. I think my favorite parts are just the way we, especially now with internet and things, information at our fingertips, we can just immediately look up these really cool things and then weave them into a story to give that story depth and more interest. And, that's just fun. It's very fun to be able to do that. We don't want to be prideful. And so because we don't want to be prideful, sometimes we engage in false humility. And I think it's important to be able to say, for me, I am a good writer and I write stories that people like to read. And that's not being prideful, that's being honest, and that's honoring the gifts God has given me. And I would hope other people, as they read this story particularly, that they would see that too. Harriet's a veterinarian. She has a gift for caring for animals, for making them well, for healing them. Her gifts aren't necessarily going to committee meetings. So, but she does. I mean, she has before in other books too. But she's got, her primary gift is being a veterinarian, and that's what God has called her to do. So she needs to have the time to do that. I think it's important to read inspiring fiction because it often has a spiritual theme that is going to feed your soul. So we do read, especially books like cozy mysteries or suspense, or even, romance. We're reading those books as an escape. We're reading those to get away for a little while from, just daily life or busy work schedules, or, just to escape. In the clean and wholesome market, there may not be necessarily church-going people, but they still have Christian values. And I think it's important to read those books and read books that are Christian fiction, because they are going to have that spiritual thread in them. It's those themes and those moments, and they may be just so small, but they're moments in the story that will just really prick someone's heart or bless their heart. And I think that's where you find those in inspirational fiction, those moments.